Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for Spider-Man Far From Home. This is the follow-up, the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, and this will be featuring spoilers from Avengers Endgame. You have been warned. This is the follow-up to Endgame. We're going to see what happens in the aftermath of those huge epic events. Namely, we have Peter Parker dealing with the loss of Tony Stark, his mentor, Iron Man. So we have him and Ned and MJ. They're all going on a vacation over to Italy, over to Europe. And well, there is a bunch of these elementals that start wreaking havoc all over the world, and Nick Fury is tracking Peter Parker, who doesn't want to be bothered, to try to get him to help because all the other Avengers apparently are busy. And well, we have all these events transpiring that have Peter Parker going not only to locations in Italy, but also to London and to Germany. So it's very much an adventure romp, and this is like us, this is a superhero movie in a nutshell. There's so much action, there's a lot of humor, there's moments of emotion, and there's lots of web slinging action. So getting into things that I like about this particular episode in the Spider-Man saga, if you will. So talking about my positives for Spider-Man Far From Home. First off, like I said off the top, is all about the repercussions of what happens in Endgame following the snap. We have these people that were blinked out of existence for 5 years, and all of a sudden they are returning, especially in a school atmosphere. How does that work when you have people in high school now that they're the same age, but yet they technically aren't, but they still look the same? So how do they fit in? We see like a lot of bias and stuff towards certain groups of people that were blipped versus not blipped, people not being able to drink alcohol versus are able to, all that kind of really interesting stuff that I didn't expect to see in this movie, but definitely appreciate it. Also, the biggest thing here was Peter kind of I don't know if it would PTSD per se, but him reacting to different things like Tony Stark. I really feel like Tony Stark has a large role in this movie, even though he doesn't really appear. So we see lots of murals, lots of dedications to Tony Stark all over the background, and seeing that Peter has to deal with this legend. Is he the next Tony Stark? Tony Stark, gave him something in this movie to almost like the passing of the torch, I guess you could say, in a way. So this is definitely something that's going to be challenging Peter Parker throughout this movie. Does he really take up the mantle of Iron Man? Something I thought was really strong with this movie was its locations. Many locations in this movie that were places I didn't expect to see Spider-Man. So you go to places like Venice, Italy, you go to places like Berlin, Germany, as well as London, and of course you're in Manhattan for a little bit of the movie, as well as the Queens area. So there's lots of jet-setting locations, which, seeing Spider-Man's web-slinging across these ruins or these very old buildings is just something really interesting that I didn't expect to see. And we're so used to seeing him in New York City all the time. It's nice to get a change of pace. Also, the relationships here between all the characters, especially with Peter Parker and his relationships, like, for instance, him and Nick Fury. And you could just tell Nick Fury does not want to deal with Peter Parker. He's this kid that's in high school. He's really testing the patience of Nick Fury there. Also, with this new character of Beck, aka Mysterio, and the relationship with Peter Parker, as they're having a kind of a friendly buddy type relationship as they are working together to take out these elementals, which are just causing havoc throughout the entire place. Moving over to my cons, I did feel that this movie had lots of points where it seemed like it was a cartoon, and not in a good way. Like, it was so animated at points that I was like taken out of it a little bit. Like, I feel like I was watching a cutscene to the PS4 Spider-Man game, which I expected a little bit less of that to make it feel more live action. I also felt that these villains we didn't actually get to see why they would be doing what they are doing. In particular, it seemed way outside of left field for these type of villains to be able to deal with that responsibility and deal with the repercussions of what they were going to do just for the sake of having some sort of leadership. So yes, again, I'm beating around the bush as I tend to do with these spoiler-free reviews, because I do not want to have you guys walk into this movie and have it ruined for you. So with that being said, I'm going to give Spider-Man Far From Home a score of an 8 out of 10. I think that Homecoming for me was just a little bit better of a movie because it really dealt with this laser-focused idea of Peter Parker being in a high school and seeing him there. Although it was fun seeing him on this trip, I feel like there was a stronger presence of the villain in the first movie that led to more compelling storytelling. So what do you guys think of Spider-Man Far From Home? Do you plan on seeing it opening weekend? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. If you want to know more about my reviews, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel where I've been doing tons of summer movie reviews as well as talking lots about Star Wars. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you go ahead again and subscribe. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.